Welcome to the Indie Author Showcase. I am multi-award winning author Chad Robert Morgan. You might be asking yourself, Chad, you keep saying you're a multi-award winning author. What awards? Well, my book, The Baby Eater, has won a total of 4 awards so far. And my first young adult novel has won 2. And your next question might be, so Chad, are these big major awards? At which point I would say, they're awards. Shut up. Come on. I do need to start applying for bigger, more prestigious awards, I think. But that's neither here nor there. That's tomorrow's Chad problem. Today's Chad's problem is getting this podcast done. And finding time to record these days has been a pain. I am literally recording this 12:30 in the morning the day this podcast is going to air, unless something goes horribly wrong. So lately around my neighborhood, they have been installing new internet cable. And so they're digging up the streets, they're laying it down, they're paving it down. On top of that, my neighbor next door, wonderful people, not dissing them, but several months ago, they found like a water leak, and then they started dealing with that, and then that led to discovering black mold. They were expecting their first child, so they have literally moved out of their house. They still own the house next door, but they moved out as these restoration people have come in and been working on this house. Now I find on top of that, they're putting a new addition to the house. So between what's going on with the neighbors and this new internet, somewhere along the line, there's always construction somewhere near my house. So finding a nice quiet time to record has been a challenge. I'm still trying to get the last audiobook done. Half of my recordings were foobarred. I found out there's a bug in Audacity where if you have Audacity open and then I plug in my microphone, this lovely Samsung G that I use, great USB mic, works very well, but if Audacity is open and I plug it in, it doesn't connect properly and I actually lose like several bands at the top, and so it comes out very kind of thing. So like half of my recordings have to be redone. And so I'm trying to find time to record with all this construction going on. So it has been a real challenge to get anything done. Again, that's why I'm recording at the dead of night after everybody has gone to bed. And I really would like to go to bed myself. But I'm here for you. So, last week's podcast, we had the wonderful interview with Raven Belasco. That went very well. What was funny is that after the interview, because we talked for about a good 45 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get a little, I mean, she was great, but I was like, yeah, it's 45 minutes, it's getting a little long. I try to keep these to about 30 minutes, and I was kind of, as an interviewer, like, okay, what do I ask next? Is like I'm kind of running out of steam as an interviewer, so I'm like, okay, let's cut it now while it's still good, and because she was fine. I was starting to strain a little bit after 45 minutes of this interview. But what was funny is afterwards we got to talking, and I think we talked for another 30 minutes after the mics went off. And we were just, so when I do an interview, I try to shut up. I'm not saying I succeed, but I try to shut up. Because I want to showcase the guest, right? I want to give the guest free rein to run. And so afterwards, we were sharing stories, and I was talking about as much as she was and everything like that. And we were sharing stories, and she was telling me some horror stories about other publishers she's had to work with and everything like that. And we were having a good old time. And she was like, "This should have been the podcast. This is funny." And so we might have to have her back so we can get those stories on air, because we were having a good old time. We had a good time during the interview, but we had a way better time afterwards. And I was half tempted just to hit the record button in the middle of that. Because, yeah, like I said, we were having some good old fun. But she will be at the Hellmouth convention here in Torrance. She's an East Coaster, and she's coming over for the Hellmouth because she's been invited to speak on a panel. And also going to be at the Hellmouth Convention is friend of the show, Casey Cordell, who has promised to give me an interview after May, which is her month of hell, apparently. I thought I was busy. I had 3 events this month. She apparently has something like 5. She's got one every weekend, including some of the same ones I'm doing. So we will both be at Pasadena Comic Con this Saturday, and then we will both be at Monster Palooza the week after that. So, but I talked to her, talked to Raven. I was like, I want to see if I can get those 2 gals to meet, so we can continue expanding our coalition of independent authors. And so, again, the purpose of the show is for independent authors to help and support each other. And with that mission in mind, I'm hoping that I can get 2 very talented indie authors to meet and build that relationship. 2 really good authors and me. Sorry. Getting into the topic of the day, I wanted to talk a little bit about reviews themselves, because every week we showcase a book. Calling it a review is a bit of a stretch, because I really don't grade the books. If they make it on the podcast, they already hit a certain quality bar to start with, so we're not giving anybody bad reviews on this show. Interesting enough, I was just watching this YouTube video from Adam Conover, where he was talking about how we're like in this culture of rating, and how the whole 5-star self-review thing is kind of self-destructing, right? Like, he was talking about this really bad like Airbnb he had, and his friend had booked it, and he told the friend to give it a bad review, and the friend didn't want to do it because then the friend was afraid that the Airbnb would give him a bad review in return, and then he would have a tough time getting Airbnb because he'd be rated as a bad customer, kind of thing. As an independent author, we're reliant on these reviews from authors. And so, we're trying very hard to get readers to read our book, to review our book, because that's our lifeblood right there. And it is one of those things where, like, you get one bad review, and you only have like 5 or 6 reviews. It's like an albatross, man. Like, some of my reviews are like that. Like, The Last Rite has a multitude of 4 and 5-star reviews, but it's got like 2 like really low reviews. I mean, it's the outlier, but as anybody's ever taken or gone to school and had a bad grade on a test or missed a test, you know how much that one bad grade can really tank you and throw off your average. And we're dependent on this. I mean, and people can sometimes review you for stupid things. And this is one thing that Adam Conover was talking about in his thing, where it's like somebody gave Moby Dick 1 star, right? And he wrote like 3 pages on his review about how bad Moby Dick was, and it's like it's Moby Dick, right? It's a classic for a reason. Of course, what is it Mark Twain used to say? A classic is somebody that everybody thinks should have been read and nobody wants to read. So with that, I kind of want to talk about our process here with showcasing books, because again, I don't like classifying it as a review, because again, there are books that I read that I think are good, but they're not really books I enjoy, right? For example, just recently we did Halloween with Josh Spiro. Very good book. But it is definitely geared for kids. And this is not a slam or anything. I mean, he even says, I'm trying to be the next Goosebumps. That's great, right? I'm not his audience. Okay, I'm way past my Goosebumps age. I like I said in my review of the thing, I want a little horror in my horror. It is a great book for younger readers who wants a little bit of kid-friendly Halloween fun, right? It's a fantastic book, well illustrated. It does its job. It's a good book. I can't recommend it enough for the proper audience. Uh, but again, as an adult, would I want to read that again? Probably not. Similar thing when we talked with Cynthia Diamond, right? She does paranormal romance. I when we started reading that book, I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to read a romance novel, but I want to be fair to indie authors of all genres. So I sat down and read, and to my surprise, I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. And it is a good, strong book. Am I going to rush out and get the next issue? Probably not. And that's not even because my TBR list is full. It's because it's just not my thing. But that doesn't detract from the fact that it's a good book. It's just not a book that's my flavor. So I do not want that bias coming into the reviews, right? So I mean, again, I don't want to say that Cynthia Diamond's book is good or bad based on my preferences. I try to abstract myself out of the process, right? Is it a good book? If you're into paranormal romance, you should like this book. It's well written. It's got good pacing. It's got good characters. It's uh, you know all the mechanics for a good book is there. And again, the fact that I'm not into that genre and I still enjoyed it should tell you how well written it was. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because of this week's book. Now, I think you can tell I am not the intended audience for this book. This is written basically for a young girl about 12. Not me. So, with that said, I want to give it I want to give you an honest feedback of this book. Is it worth buying if this is your genre of choice? Okay? Because I got some weird looks reading this thing. I can tell you that right now. I'm all sitting there and be like, yeah, this is not a good match. Okay? Does not mean this is a bad book. Quite the opposite. I would say if you're a young girl, this is a good book. This is about a young princess who is, I think she's about 14 in this book. Right at that age where she's thinking boys are cute and dealing with, things of girls at that age. Like sometimes your other girls are a little catty, dealing with, making friends, themes of friendship over peer pressure or what being true to yourself versus being part of the crowd and that kind of thing. So as the story opens, our young newborn princess is in the crib, and they're expecting the fairy godmothers to show up and bestow her gifts, as they do every person of royal lineage. But she's being a little bit fussy. She pukes on King Dad and Queen Mom, so they go and take her to go get cleaned up. In the meantime, this little kitten comes in, been chasing a rat around the castle, jumps in, gets into the bassinet. Little fairy godmothers show up, mistake the cat for the baby, and bestow their gifts on the cat. So this is a big, huge shame of the family, right? They can't let anybody know, it's a secret. Um, so then she becomes of age. She's like 14 in the book. She has to go to this royal summer camp where she gets to meet other princesses and other princes and the like, and they can't let anybody know that she doesn't have any gifts, that she's giftless. It's a secret, right? So, the whole adventure is her, and with the help of her cat, who again has all the gifts. So the cat is very intelligent, can speak, um, and the book actually switches between the princess and the cat in terms of perspective. Um, and they're surviving, magical royal summer camp, basically. Um, so again, is this a book a 53-year-old man should be reading? Probably not. But I will say that I do have a new niece in the family who is about that age that I think would appreciate this book way more than I did. I would say that again, the book is solid. Um, very good. I mean, I'm not bringing the book on any book to trash it. So the fact that it's on the podcast means this is a good book. It's like any book. It is going to be received better by its proper audience. So my goal is to get this book into her hands before she outgrows it. But I do think that for her, for somebody in the kind of preteen or the tween age kind of thing, this is a great book. I think it tells some important values, or still some important values, some important life lessons. And overall, yeah, if you got a young girl in your life, I think this book would be a good purchase for her. Just my opinion. Now, again, I'm saying this as a father of a daughter who is now like graduated college and everything like that. A daughter who grew up on me reading her Harry Potter, all 7 volumes, doing all the voices. If my daughter was that age now, I think she would enjoy this book. But again, it's a little hard to say because I'm not a 14-year-old girl. So, but as someone who used to have a young girl in the house, I think this would be a good fit. So again, that is, book is, I forgot to mention what the book is. Plain Princess Jane, by Jennifer Milne. Or Milne, probably. Milne. Yeah. If you got a young girl in your life, looking for a present for your daughter or something like that, give this one a try. So we're going to keep this podcast a little short because, again, it is the dead of night. And I got a busy couple weekends coming up. I got to be in Pasadena like at 6 a.m. and that's like an hour away. And that's literally tomorrow because right now it's Saturday. It's Friday right now. God, I can't remember what day it is. But our schedule is for the next 2 weeks. This weekend is Pasadena Comic Con, which is at, big surprise, Pasadena Convention Center. Then the week after that, we're back to Pasadena for Monsterpalooza. This year's Monsterpalooza is going to be even bigger. They've taken the theater next door so we can have even more vendors. So we're going to have even way more things to see and buy here at Monsterpalooza this year. So I'm really excited about that. Hope to see you all there. swing by Monsterpalooza, get your new copy of our brand new book, Fear. I'm hoping I get my hardcovers by Monsterpalooza. If not, I do have a nice stack of paperbacks at least. So there is that. For those that really like hardcover, though, um, if I don't get them by Monsterpalooza, you can always order them directly from Barnes & Noble. Amazon does hardcovers as well, but they're the cased hardcover. I don't like those, personally, myself. I like the jacketed hardcovers, which you can get at Ingram Spark or you can get at Barnes & Noble. So, with that, we'll see you next week, and keep on reading.